Greg Dennis here.
Nevada Story.
Marshall Todd.
Julie Osborne.
John Patterson.
Student pledge.
We have one.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I like that.
Our attorney does it. That is very
Public
nice.
comment on matters not listed on the agenda.
All right, everyone. My name is James Phoenix. I go by JJ. I am a member of the Pyramid Lake Pirate Tribe next door. I was appointed to the Washington County School District Board of Trustees, District C. So this is District C out here. So out here in the rules, I am the trustee that's been appointed. So I want to stay another 4 more years. I got to run, so I have to do all the heartache of doing the campaigning stuff this year. So that's where I'm at. So I'll be running for the seat here at District C. I am a graduate from Pyramid Lake High School. I went to Reed. I went to all the schools there. I went to TNCC, graduated from UNR, joined the Marines, did 4 years active duty, came back, was a travel cop for a couple years. Eventually got picked up by Reno PD, where I stayed for a lifetime, 25 years. And then I went back to the Guard, where I stayed from E4 and graduated finally as a lieutenant colonel at the end of the road. And I was the provost marshal, which oversees force protection for the National Guard on all their facilities across the state. So I worked with the general and I worked at that level. So I had a pretty good understanding of how all that functions there. But I got appointed to the school district last year in January. And I really learned a lot about education. I learned a whole gamut of what's going on with the district. So I haven't had an opportunity to come out and chat with the families about what are your issues, what are your concerns, what can I tell the superintendent and the staff, and make sure your voice is heard, at least at that level. You know, we let the district run the drill and do the best that they can, and I just try to communicate that, do the best that I can with that thing. But I just wanted to stop in, take a couple of minutes, introduce myself, and maybe reintroduce myself to a couple of y'all, and let you know that I'll be running this year. And any support from anyone out here, the rules, I get how it is. I know I rode that bus from Pyramid to Agnes Risley for years, and I did all that grind. And so your children and the people that are out here, we freaking get it, man. Okay, you know, so it's a long haul. And so my grandkids still, they have to do the same thing. So I get it. But if there's anything I can do to help out, I want to put it out there and make sure that I attend the meeting. I'll be at the next CAP to announce it some more, just to put it out there. And I don't know who's running for District 5. I don't know how that's going for you guys. Have you guys had some visitors out here yet?
No, you're it.
Just at the cow.
Well, I wish I was running for District 5, but I already put on my hat for sitting in the seat here for the school district. Otherwise, I would have run, and I had planned on originally to run for District 5 to be that county commissioner, but I got the tap here and I'm going to work with it. So I won't talk anymore. I will leave these handouts that I have here. I'll put them on the you can, yeah.
But I'll put the rest over there.
You got it. And just remember, vote for JJ Phoenix, and it's vote for JJ PHX. So if you got a place you want to put a sign, if you think that I'm the kind of guy you want to support, I hope so. And
What's your relationship to Floyd?
Floyd, he was my cousin. You know, if you haven't heard, you know, he's since has passed. But but
We went to high school
that
together.
was my first cousin. Yeah.
We went to high school.
And we all grew up together over
Yep.
there in second. So, other than that, I'll pause and get out of there. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up.
Can we, I don't think we can ask questions in the.
Oh,
no.
But I mean, offline,
Okay.
offline, there's a scan code on there. It's going to the website if you want to know more. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Because I have questions, but I can't answer them.
Oh.
Okay.
Any other public comment? Nope.
I have one to read that I received by email from Catherine and Larry Carlson. The valley population is growing. For public safety, we need signage to educate the new and old residents of the importance of speed limits on our roads and awareness of the horses, deer, antelope, cows, and other animals that live in this valley. We live on Wilcox Ranch Road. Our parcel covers both sides of the road. It has become a speedway that is ruining the road and killing horses. It has to stop. Signage is used in the county and city. We should have them out here too. Private roads does not mean it is okay to drive recklessly out here with no limits. That's
That's it?
it.
Right. And if you guys, there was a request from, I don't remember the name.
I have her in here.
Shannon?
Yes, from Shannon.
Yeah, so next month, I asked Robin and this, Shannon, asked in an email to the GID to agendize some discussion from the board on signage at our entrances to our main roads concerning wild horse awareness or warnings. So Robin is gonna have that on the agenda next month, and it kind of goes with that public comment. So any other public comment?
That's
I
it.
just have one real quick public comment. And I'm doing this as a public comment because I heard it mentioned in the meeting last month that I missed. And it did make it in the minutes, and I think it's important that it's reflected
Okay.
in the minutes, so it will be this one. So we had a ethics complaint filed against our public employee, the operations manager, last fall sometime, maybe October-ish. And I think it was filed by Kenneth Osborne. And through the process of Sean dealing with the Ethics Commission, pretty quickly, the complaint was dismissed. And I think it's important that when these kind of complaints come and they're resolved, that it should be in the public record how they were resolved. If they're for current trustees or public employees that are part of our district. The other thing I wanted to note about that is the operations manager had every opportunity to reach out to Pool Pack and defend his interests as a public employee for the GID. He did not do that. He did it on his own. And I think it's $1,000 is the
Deductible.
deductible if Sean had taken that route. But he handled it on his own, dealing with the Ethics Commission, and so it didn't cost the district $1,000, and I appreciate that he did it that way. And even though I told him, if you need to call Pool Pack, call Pool Pack. So that's my public comment on that, and I'll hand this off to you, Robin.
Okay.
If you guys hand that down to Robin. That's the notice from the Ethics Commission of the dismissal, and I think that should be attached to the minutes for this one. All right. Election of officers by Board of Trustees for possible action. We'll take public comment at some point, but, if there's board discussion here or.
And in your packets is the list of duties for each. In your packet is the list of duties. I'm not going to read them, but it's in there.
I got it.
I would like to thank you, Trustee Patterson, for being the president for the last year. And I would like to nominate Trustee Greg Dennis to be president.
I'll second that. Now we'll do public comment. Okay, and I will just say that I was kind of leaning that way myself, Greg, and I hope you'll accept it. And my feeling on that was, I didn't come here tonight that I was going to be president, because I don't think one person should hold the position for a long duration. And I've done it almost 2 years. And I think it's better for the district to shuffle that position around, have different people holding the gavel.
And I agree with that, because if you don't get the hands-on experience of talking with managers and running things and getting a feel for it, then we're gonna lose people that need to know how to run the utility, so, and that's pretty critical.
And I think other trustees are able-bodied to do it too, but you as the tenured trustee, and you've had the position before, it gives another year for our brothers and sisters to get some time under their belt. And so, any public comment? Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, Vice President, discussion, nominations?
I'd like to get Julie more involved in things, but one of the things that I had mentioned to her was if she would be, not the vice president will go on, but the same thing I do for quite a while was secretary treasurer. It's not such a big thing anymore that you need two people to do that type of a job, because we've been very, very lucky. We had two ladies that have just really made our lives really easy now. And I do appreciate that. And so I'll get vice president. I don't know, somebody got an idea?
I'd like to renominate Nevada. And the reason is because we've got to bring people along,
Okay.
and he's still pretty young looking.
I'm
sorry for them.
That's a
I'll
good
second
strike.
that.
I second it.
Which,
Any public comment? Got a motion and a second, oh no, Greg, what did you do?
It's okay, you can keep
Okay,
going.
I'll get through this item. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
Second item.
Secretary
Third
treasurer.
item is the treasurer and secretary, or your proper assistant to the board
Mhm.
type thing. But things have turned around enough from Kathy retiring and everything else that things have really come together in terms of what information the trustees need to run this. And we've solved a lot of the issues between people and other things. So I'm really happy that we're making these moves in terms of making the GID a better place. And a lot of the ideas the board members have come out with have been, transparency and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, if I may, I don't want to let John off the hook that easily.
Okay.
And we have a secretary treasurer, they can be together, or they can be otherwise. And I'd like to keep John on as the treasurer and Julie as the secretary. And then maybe next year,
Can I make a comment to that, please?
Sure.
I thought about that a lot too, and it's nice to have things spread out. John knows more already all about this. He works with the ladies all the time. So he understands the finances. He's put together the bids. He understands all that. I'd rather immerse one person in understanding the full scope of the treasurer and the banking system and all the other things going on with one individual, if that was plausible. Because I've done it now for, 3 years now? Secretary treasurer.
And you've done a really good job, and the fact that you have all that experience with the city and a whole career, you've been invaluable in keeping us out of trouble and keeping us on the straight and narrow. And I really appreciate what you've done. So the only reason I was suggesting that is because there's a lot to take on at one time,
It's not that big.
Okay.
It's not that big. Because I'll tell you why. The people we have hired and the ladies that are working for us, Robin, Andy, they keep in contact and they make it easy now. I got them set up at the banks. I got all the bank stuff set up, and so everything should run rather smoothly, I think. It's not as
Okay.
it's okay.
And to put your mind at ease, before I was a firefighter, I was a banker and I babysat small business loans. So I'm very well aware of financial paperwork and financial fiscal responsibility.
We'll figure out some special projects for John, okay?
We're gonna get one in 2 months.
Probably
And
so.
a payment proposal.
Another one, okay. So did we have a motion or a second on that?
It was moved.
All those in favor? Oh, did we do
We
public comment?
didn't,
No, no.
we didn't have a
We need
second.
didn't have a second.
Oh, my attorney.
I'm sorry, what was the motion? I thought it changed somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
there.
it kind of
Yeah.
changed.
Oh, that Julie be, elected, secretary treasurer. That's what,
You
yeah,
have to,
that's what we were
Okay,
discussing.
good.
and so somebody needs to
Someone needs
motion
a
it
second.
officially and then second.
So we need a second.
I second it.
You motioned
You
it.
made the motion.
Oh, okay, well, no, I'm just doing my usual.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Was there public comment?
They haven't seconded the motion yet.
Does anybody have a motion to second it?
You motion, somebody just needs to second it.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those, public comment? I forgot how this works now. Okay, we'll get it together.
Can I make a public comment even as assistant to the board? Not as assistant to the board, but,
You make a public comment, yes.
okay. Will you have time? We have a very limited, narrow field for the budget.
Mhm.
Will you be available to help us with that?
Yes.
Because we don't get the numbers till February 15th. We have to have it ready for the meeting and it has to be turned into the state by the 21st of
Yes.
February. So it's a very narrow time.
Mhm.
But Angie does a great job on the budget. It's just putting in the last numbers. So that was just my question.
Agreed. You both do a great
Any
job.
other comments? Public comments? Bring it back to the board. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That's all for,
It threw me off.
Election of
Mr. President.
we go on to approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for December 18th, 2025 regular meeting.
I do need to make an amendment in the minutes.
Yes?
I had a name wrong. Mr. Mortensen let me know what the name was. It's very important when you do the sign-in sheet, please put your last name in so that I know who you are. And I also needed to change one area where I put roads and it should have been driveways.
So we have two corrections
Mhm.
with the name and,
From road to driveway.
thank you.
I move that we accept the minutes, with the, correction.
And I'll second that, but I went over one word correction of Robin before the meeting where it said roads and you
Yeah.
wanted driveways.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's part of the amendment.
Yeah, I just,
Then I second the motion to amend.
Do we need public comment on this?
it's for,
Public
comment, please? Sir?
Wayne Morris for the record. There was a note in there about the SDS for the smooth polymer material to be placed on the website. I haven't found it on the website yet.
I have it. I have not put it on the website yet. I do have it though.
Any other public comments? Bring it back to the board. Have a motion to approve the minutes with two corrections. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Review of bills and other financial matters. Review of transactions report. What we spend our money on.
All right, so on the transaction report, the kind of the biggest thing to note is on the ad valorem, because the meeting is so early this month because the first fell on a Thursday. We actually got that payment today, so it's
So it
not on the
doesn't show
report.
in this
So it's
record.
not on this report, so we'll have two next month will show up. But it was $13,000, so it's actually was more than what we were anticipating. You'll see that on the figures in the net operating report on the second page at the top. I didn't add it in, but for January we'll have the 13 and we were estimating 0. So we did get some funds there. So no other really anything to note on the transaction report. Everything was our typical bills. We did have approved the financial audit bill was on there for the $15,900. Other than that, everything was typical. Net operating report as of the August 31st balance, we have the $549,000 that would be still remaining in the budget. We do have the new that was approved in the October meeting, or I'm sorry, the November meeting, the aggregate surfacing projects. Sean was able to, he got the Crazy Horse project was started. So that is noted in the middle section there. And then on the items to invoices to pay, just our typical monthly invoices for the utilities. And I do know I've had one question on my invoice in particular for the water rates on the extensions. I had to put that on my business card. They required a credit card to have that on file or to be able to make the payment. So that's what that is.
Thank you. And this will be, we paid it and it's on this expense? Thank you. I had, and it involves two things. I was looking at this item in the estimated operating funds. And total cash in accounts was about 384,000. Yet, and we show net estimating operating funds for road improvements, August 31, 2026. We're into 2026 now. So we're estimating that we're gonna get, another $200,000-300,000 before August.
About 200, a little over 200.
Okay.
And then as I'm reading this, Angie, it looks like we're gonna have the net operating funds for road improvements, the 549,517, and that's what we're gonna have available to do road projects for
Correct.
this year, this fiscal year. or
That's
the-
what towards the end. Mhm.
Is that for next fiscal year then? So is that for,
So we'll have, that's in the funds to be spent for by the end of August.
Okay.
So that it's going to come up in the, I think on the next note, on the next topic. We have to make sure we spend the money according to the budget. And so it has to be in the next fiscal year. So part of that is on current year and part of it's on next year.
thank you.
Okay, so we'll need a motion to approve the payment for the payments on the transaction report.
I'll make a motion, pay the
Well,
bills.
Oh,
it's not listed as an action item.
Just number 3 is.
To pay the bills is the
The-
action item.
Yeah, the possible, or B is the possible action.
all right, thank you.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
We'll also go to item 4B now. Review bills for approval of payment.
Can we just do that?
That's we did
he
that.
Clarified,
Right.
he's asked to have more clarity in the agenda for the agenda items. I can see that, that's good. Thank you. We have a approval of bill for payment.
And can you state the month and the year?
I second.
Oh, I need
For
to
January
better-
15th, 2026.
Thank you.
I second the
Have a
motion.
second. Public comment, please. Hearing no public comment, I'll bring it back to the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. On with review of bills and other financial matters. Estimated net operating funds for road improvements report, information only.
You just review it again real quick. Right.
So this is the one that we
Oh,
just,
sorry.
Yes.
Wait,
We're
no,
going to do it again.
and that's what we were talking about, and then I was chatting about too, the 549.
Yeah, the 549,000.
We need more chairs. Nice.
So on capital outlay, we still have $62,000 outstanding that we're gonna spend.
Is that for a grader that we had determine that money was for?
Or a mini act.
Or, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What was it for, Sean?
A possible grader or a mini excavator.
Okay. And, I have mag chloride in here. We going, it's proof 1120 for 13.5. So you're aware of that, Sean? Okay, thanks.
I have a feeling though that I'm,
Are we gonna use something else?
no, my bad.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Next agenda item. Thank you very much. I won't confuse things.
Just the numbers.
Is there any public comment on this agenda? Okay. We're on to item 5A. We discussed determination of proposed plan to prevent the recurrence of violations as noted on page 16 of the audit report for fiscal year 24-25 and to approve for submission along with the proposed plan, a letter verifying the date on which the Board of Trustees reviewed and approved such plan as to the Department of Taxation. Your call, Robert.
Okay, so what happened was, it was just a fluke. Sierra Nevada Construction has never completed the project before July 1st before. Because they did, it came off of last year's fiscal budget,
24?
24,
Okay,
because it was paid
right. It was paid during that time.
during that time. And the way it works is we have to do a certified payroll. And that certified payroll, the last day that they build on that payroll is when the project is considered finished by the state, and that has to be turned into the state. So June 30th was the last day they worked on the project. That's never happened before. They were just very efficient.
Okay.
So we overspent for that year. And in working with Kelly from the state, basically what we need to do is in the bid process, we simply need to state that the project cannot be completed until July 1st of whatever fiscal year that money's coming from, and must be completed before the last day of that fiscal year the money's coming from.
So there was some juggling that needed to be done so the finances come out according to what the state requires.
Yes, and it wasn't anything other than SNC was just very good. And then on the capital outlay, Sean had set up to purchase the truck long before the 1st of July, but Truckee Meadows didn't have it ready until the 1st of July. And what we should have done was at the July meeting, rolled those funds over into that fiscal year. So it was paid
Correct.
in the new fiscal year and the money was in the old fiscal year. And that's all it was. It was that simple. And so basically the solution is to change the wording in the bid. And then anytime there's any capital outlay, verify that the money's been spent that fiscal year. And if not, roll it over in addition to what's been allocated so that there isn't an issue.
So we'll have to watch whether someone finishes a job and in what fiscal year.
That's where we put the wording into the bid.
Correct.
And that is basically what happened. They aren't upset. They just want a solution. And so that is my recommended solution, is to change the wording in the bid and review the capital outlay in July meeting.
Does our attorney agree with that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And so I will write up the letter and get it to you or one of the board members to sign. It has to go out by the 30th.
Very good.
Simple
On to-
solution, I like it.
Yeah, so it's just a
Any more
matter of
public
time.
Comments on this?
Yeah, I like simple.
Okay, going on to item 6, road reports, road operations.
I think you have to-
Maintenance.
Oh, we have to make it.
You have to motion and approve.
Oh,
Yeah.
what? Attorney. We wanted, this is an action item? Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think we needed to do that.
You have to approve,
So do we have to approve your letter
yes,
to the state?
to the state.
I make a
Yes.
motion that we approve your letter to the state regarding the violations as noted on page 16 of the audit report for
By
fiscal
changing
years.
the wording in the
Okay, by changing the wording
in the
in
bid
our bids
and agreeing to review capital outlay
and agreeing to review capital outlay
in the July meeting when the new fiscal year starts.
in the July meeting when the new fiscal year starts.
I have a motion,
I second it.
a motion and a second. Public comment? Hearing none, bring it back to the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Now I can go on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Road reports, Road operations and maintenance reports for information only.
Well,
Darn.
it was pretty short in between meetings, and I think there's 9.5 days of work days. So there's not a lot there, but did get a few roads that were kind of flat, crowned up, about 7 miles, 8 miles of that. Anyway, had some batteries go bad as usual lately, but I mean, it was pretty short, but there was vacation in there too, so. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. I've noticed it got the usual cold weather. And when we're grading, we can't really grade when the ground's froze. And I've noticed quite a bit, the ground froze really good. You got down to 10 and 9, stayed there for a while. That you couldn't do anything. And I don't know how you're doing maintenance in between on equipment and those types of things, because I noticed that if you try to grade a road when it's half or a couple inches frozen, it just tears it up, just nothing left. So that's one thing I wanted to bring out, that we need to understand that sometimes in the winter, we're not going to have the ability to grade roads. And we try to do a lot of maintenance during that time. Thanks. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm pretty much done.
That's the fastest road report you ever did.
It was 9 days.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely see there's a pretty road because the side that's on the town on most of the roads is dried up.
Right.
The other side isn't because it's not getting direct light.
Right.
So there was a ground. I mean, it's getting flat out.
Yeah, that's typical. Possible, 6B, possible allocation of funds and material to work on Hay Canyon Road for possible action. Whose item
For
is
me.
this?
And technically, I had a resident that bought property at the end of that road. Bring it in, thankfully he was able to bring in his triple wide modular home while the road was frozen. I have the material. I'm not asking for funds, actually. I need the material that we have at Wayside Yard. I'm gonna utilize on that road. It's just a matter of time before I can get it done.
What's the condition of the road?
Right now, it's just goozo.
My special name for
Yours,
stuff like
yes.
that.
It's just, and there's no touching it. So I was just really happy to see that they brought it in this morning on a frozen road. And so that's at least done. But I'll get over there when I get.
Okay. Any public comments?
I'd like to speak.
Yes.
My name's Matt Williams, and that greatly affects me. I'm the new owner of the property at Hay Canyon. Excuse me, I've been in the cold all day. But the road is awful by all accounts. And I'm basically asking you guys for help on that one. I've got a waiver right now to extend my commute as a first responder. I'm already past my 1 hour window, but I do worry eventually, bad weather, bad summer storms with my commuter car not being able to get me to Carson City in that time frame. So,
One of the things we do with, as a kind of a policy is, Larry Johnson used to say this quite a bit, was we have to give people access to their homes. And that's always something that we need to think about. So we have a motion here, I need, for possible action to have Sean go ahead and fix that road.
I move that we go ahead and have Sean fix that road as soon as the weather permits.
It's not weather, actually. It's the road needs to be dry enough so I don't sink equipment or make more ruts.
Or maybe
Well,
rock.
That's kind of weather. It
Okay.
needs to evaporate.
It's when it's safe to do so.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. We'll go back to public comment. Any more public comment on it? Bring it back to the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6C, possible review of bids to repair the damage to the bridge on Wilcox Ranch Road located between Clayton Aspen and Twin Springs Road.
That's me.
Yes.
And I can tell you this,
Is that
after
road
getting
going
some
bad now?
bids, I come to the conclusion that I'm gonna get, and just gonna put K-rail back up. There was K-rail there, in 19, it fell down.
Okay.
With when we had the big floods.
Mhm.
We used that to stack boulders up and use it as backing, but I don't see any reason why we can't do that. I've got it at the yard. Bids are kind
Well,
of.
K-rails do what we need to do. They'll create the
They, it will
waterfalls.
not, yeah, they'll hit it,
Yeah.
but, you know, they won't go in the ditch. or,
Okay.
you know.
Thank you very much. Okay. Any board discussion on this? Any public comment on this? Yes.
Lori Sports off for the record, just point of information, if somebody wrecks that because of what happened on that, going over the creek, do they let you guys know that they've wrecked that, equipment, and then does their insurance pay for it, or do we just fix it and they just have to get your car fixed?
Nobody knows who did it, that's the problem.
Oh, okay,
Can't find them.
okay.
And I tried to call, I'm not supposed to, tried to call tow companies, but they won't tell you anything because it's,
Yeah, no, it's
No.
confidential. I just wondered if
otherwise we would have used their
somebody
insurance.
turned it in as an accident, would they have helped
There's
out?
always that
Sense.
possibility, but I don't think we're gonna find,
I just wondered,
anything.
you're
So,
gone.
given that, we have the need to fix this, and I'm looking for a possible motion to have Sean directed to go ahead and fix the road located between Aspen and Twin Springs for that particular water problem.
I'll make a motion. To have Sean repair the damage to the bridge on Wilcox Ranch Road located between Quaking Aspen and Twin Springs.
I'm not repairing anything, I'm just putting up K-rail, there's nothing to repair.
Mitigate the problem. And Sean, I'd like to thank you for putting that yield sign back up on Amy and Whiskey Springs.
Lori Sports on for the record. Sean, what's Gabriel?
You know, when you drive down the freeway and you have that big cement barrier in the middle,
Yes?
that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that would be
Thousands of
wonderful.
miles of those.
That would work really well.
Yes.
Concrete
I
dividers.
picked the car up.
Concrete barrier.
All right,
Yes.
okay,
I'll second the motion to have it fixed with K-Rail.
have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Unfinished business, second reading and possible adoption of resolution F 25-R2 to amend the accepted roads list to delete Bootstrap Lane and Chieftain Road and change the end of maintenance location to Broken Spur North, Roadrunner Road, and Silver Horse Road. Sean, do you have any comments on that? Or anybody?
I think this is what we started in November.
I know.
It's been going on for a while.
Going on.
Well, basically, yeah, I mean, you guys have the same thing in the packet that was presented in November. We did the first reading, so, I mean, I'm just gonna make a motion to, adopt the new resolution at the second reading of Act 25, TAC R2, to amend the accepted roads list.
Any other discussion from the board?
I have the same reservations and concerns that I did back in the first reading of this.
Can you clue me in on the issues maybe?
I don't know that we need to, well, one, I had a big issue with us not contacting the property owners that this is gonna affect. I believe that we need to give them some time to resolve these before we actually come up and say, hey, we're not doing maintenance on your road.
Any other-
Have we determined that these roads are not part of the general improvement district
Yes.
responsibility?
Kathy's done the work. It's
And I
been presented
understand
in the
that.
packet.
And so we have a fiduciary responsibility to work on roads that are delineated by the GID as roads that we are responsible for. If we go past that, I believe our attorney's going to say we're getting into gray area that we shouldn't be because we're doing something outside our responsibilities for the general improvement district.
Were they not, Greg, approved, especially Bootstrap? That, we have a lot of the homeowners come down here. And it was originally approved on the list of roads to be maintained probably, I don't know what year it was, 10, 15 years ago. It was approved.
Even if the board may have made a mistake in trying to help people out to approve to go ahead and get things done, it still comes back to the fundamentals that the board's responsibility is delineated by the easements and
It was an easement issue, correct.
and I don't know,
I was under the assumption they resolved it or attempted to resolve it within the last year. We haven't heard anything one way or the other since they all came down complaining, talking about it.
For Bootstrap
Have we heard
specifically,
anything from them on them easements?
for Bootstrap particularly, we have a resolution FO8-R2, March 13th, 2008, that accepts Bootstrap Lane for maintenance, and we amended the list of PVGID accepted roads and level of maintenance.
That was 2008.
Yes.
well, the problem I have is Kathy has indicated, and I think logically so, she's pretty good at doing this, that we don't have a responsibility for those roads. So what's our fiduciary responsibility is to follow the outline of what the general improvement district is required to do, which is the roads that are delineated. And if they're not delineated as part of our GID, which this appears to be, then the only other thing is, Julie, did we say anything to anybody up there about just not doing anything? To give them the opportunity to
I talked.
have a chance to come and talk again.
I told them that several properties had not released their,
Easements?
the easements, thank you, the easements, because, we can't go on private property.
That's
It has to
correct.
be dedicated
Right.
to the GID. They were aware of that. That's
So
why I was asking if we'd heard anything
apparently
since on it.
That hasn't been done.
Okay.
So that's the problem. And until it gets done, we have to follow our responsibility and
Which is in this
maintain those
resolution.
roads. And that's what this resolution
And
does.
they've been given plenty of time.
Well-
They literally have known for years that they only had a couple parcels that needed to dedicate their easements to the GID.
Another example is, I believe it was Ernie or Roadrunner past Ernie. The people who bought that property came here and said that they were told by someone at the GID, and it wasn't Robin because this was before her time. Someone at the GID said, yes, we maintain that. Their attorneys and their title company said, yep, it's part of the approved list. And we're saying now that it's not. And I believe that we have some liability in that, or there's potential liability in that. And maybe that's something we need to have our attorney look into.
Well, somebody at the GID, who did it? They certainly have to know that.
It was Kathy.
Attorney,
sir.
please, wait.
Yep. Go ahead, sir.
So I would just tell you that in historically, the courts have supported and approved the correction of errors, despite the fact that it may be harmful to the person who is benefiting from the error that was made by a government body, whether it's granting a special use permit or anything like that, or taking any action. So I don't think there's any liability for it. If you're correcting an error that was made, then the courts are going to endorse the correction of that error.
Do you see this as a clear path for the GID trustees to go ahead and deal with the amended resolution? Because I don't think we have any other choice. We were looking for other choices, but we don't have them, so we need to amend this resolution. Is that correct?
I agree with the premise that if the roads are not within the jurisdiction of the GID, then the obligation is to correct the error of having said they were.
Thank you.
Is that the question you're asking?
Yes, very good. You answered the question. Thank you. So we're kind of stuck. So,
Actually, we have a solution to a problem. We're not stuck.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We have to do this.
Spent money to have this done.
That's the problem. So, comment, sir?
Yes. Brought handouts for you guys. I'll take one handout. My name's Wayne Mortensen. For the record, we took some time to read this resolution and the report Kathy Glather put together. The resolution F-25-R2 refers to the roadway easements research project as evidence to make a conclusion whether easements are legally deeded to the Helena Valley GID. The roadway easement project report contains misleading statements and legal conclusions that are not based on legal evidence related to deeded easements. I'll give a few examples of this from the roadway research easement project. On page 1, subparagraph 1, the report lists 8 roads that have mileage changes and states, quote, the end of maintenance locations have not changed, unquote. Of the 8 roads listed, 7 of them had new end of maintenance definitions changed to cul-de-sac. The report says end of maintenance locations have not changed. Further examination of the road maintenance table shows 34 changes have been made to the end of maintenance definitions. All 34 were changed to cul-de-sac. Kathy Glather is misleading the board with her statement, the end of maintenance locations have not changed. And Kathy Glather is arbitrarily changing the agreed to end of maintenance to not include the cul-de-sac. In the case of Yellowtail Road, the GID accepted maintenance of the deeded easement well over 50 years ago. The deeded easement includes the cul-de-sac. There is no reason listed for these 34 changes, no reference to the 34 changes even being made, and no reference to a previous resolution that made these 34 changes. Kathy Glasser's statement, the end of maintenance locations have not changed, is patently false. On page 2, subparagraph 2, the report makes a statement, quote, Washoe County land maps have revealed the following roadways or portions thereof are either on private access easements and therefore acceptance of maintenance was made in error, unquote. A land map does not tell you if an easement was deeded to the GID. A legal conclusion that roadway easements were not deeded to the GID cannot be made using a land map. Deeds contain language on easements and if the easement was dedicated to the GID. Survey maps contain the full definition of the easement, location, length, width, turnarounds, etc. Deeds and survey maps are needed to reach a legal conclusion for the GID dedication and for a definition of what was dedicated. The roadway easement research project contains no reference to any deeds or survey maps, so no legal determination of GID easement dedication can be made. The entire report refers only to land maps. Kathy Glather is misleading the board with her legal conclusion that land maps reveal roadways were deeded to the GID. Were not deeded to the GID. The resolution F-25-R2 must be rejected based on these false and misleading statements by Kathy Glather. Thank you.
Well, it sounds like we have a legal issue, and I would like to,
Table this.
bring this, let our attorney review that letter. I don't know if he has it right now or not. And, I would recommend that we would just bring this back to the board next month.
This is,
And I haven't read all the documents on this one. And I'm certainly not gonna absorb this right now. Roadway easement project evidence supporting validity of the research method used by independent contractor Kathy Lascar, January 14, 2026. So have you seen this? Do you have a copy of it?
I have not.
And do you, sir, do you have it?
no, what is it?
Okay, so I can see this maybe some information that hasn't gone out yet.
Yeah.
So I would just assume,
Make a motion to table.
table this till next month.
Can you make a
So I'll
motion?
make a motion to table this issue to the next month.
I have a motion. Do I have a second from any board member?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any public comment further? I'll bring this back to the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Do we need a hand? Do you need a,
I need a copy of that.
okay,
I don't have that either.
I'm just gonna give this to you. I
Okay.
just received it. So I'm not quite aware of all the work that's been done. I know there's been a lot of work. I know John has worked with Kathy, and Kathy has worked as diligently as possible. I don't mind defending Kathy. I worked with her for a long time, and I think she's a very above-board person, really good person, but I don't know if there was a mistake made or some legal issue with easements and our responsibilities need to be reviewed by the attorney, and I think that's a wise thing to
You
do.
want me to send this to the attorney?
I agree.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, a copy to the attorney and a couple copies, if we can, to the
The Mortensons?
people that are
Okay.
involved with this, please. Okay, we have that for the next meeting. Second reading on 7B, second reading of possible adoption and resolution of F25-R3 to amend resolution F23-R1, roads acceptance for maintenance to change the language in item 4 from a specific amended list date to as amended. And I don't quite get what that means. I'm sure, maybe our attorney can straighten us out on that, because it's a word.
So I think it was just a change of language to change the language in item number 4 from a specific amended list date to as amended, so that did not, that the date did not have the importance, but as amended. So we didn't have to update dates. Is that what that was?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Basically, you can amend the list without having to have go through the whole thing all over again. As amended, rather than going through the list and redoing it all.
So you feel that's a wise choice?
It's just changing the language it makes sense.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Reduces work.
Yes.
I totally understand. That's good. Okay, any more board trustee comments? Public comments, please?
Wayne Mortensen for record. Do you have a copy of what exactly it's going to look like?
It's a,
Be more specific.
This is the table they're referring to.
Okay,
It has a date.
okay.
This is the table that has 34 unauthorized changes on it. I want to see that the only thing that's changing is amended August 20th, 2022 to as amended. And this report is the same as it is in housing right now. And those 34 changes are non-equivalent.
I wish I could help you more on that. I think it involves what the attorney has to look at, and I'm going to ask the board to table that to the next meeting. Because I'm not totally familiar with what you're trying to show me right here. I do understand the list, and I do understand that, but I'm not familiar with the specificity of everything in that document at this
Yeah,
point. So it's
it's-
rather difficult for me to do that. So I would
But
assume
this is
I would
just
like
to
the
change
attorney
the
to do the same.
Right, but you'll have the.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and she
But
put, yeah.
I would tell you this, that it's not really changing
No.
anything other than it's
wording.
telling you that when you look at this, you have to reference something else and look at the most current version of it,
Mhm.
as opposed to a version that was adopted on a specific date.
Yeah.
This is a very common use of language in many, many settings and statutes. So it's not changing the substance of anything.
It is, doesn't change the substance, and it's reasonable because it makes better use of what the language needs to be.
Correct.
Thank you.
So it means that this reflects whatever amendments have been made, so that this can stay the same without being amended every single time the item, the resolution or the rule that it references is changed. It always follows whatever that is as it exists as amended. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Okay, thank you.
It doesn't change any of the roads
I
right now.
understand that, but I have to give everybody the comment, their ability to, any further public comment, please? I'll bring
I
it
have a
back to the
comment.
board, discussion for the board.
I have a comment. I understand the concern because when you look at the Palomino Valley GID accepted roads and level of maintenance, it says it is an attachment to the resolution F25-R3, which is the one that we're discussing right now. And if it's referencing the roads, which is a possible change from the prior resolution, I think this should be tabled as well, or at least the road attachment, this attachment to resolution F25R3. It is a single page, which means that this is what the changes are trying to be made in the first resolution. So I think it either should not be attached to the resolution, or we should put these two resolutions together as a table so that we can review this more and see
Well, the
why
attorney,
this is attached.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, but the attorney just said that that's common language. It doesn't affect the content of the table, and that it's something that's typically done. So I'm all in favor of moving that out. Then we only have one to deal with.
Right,
Make that
but this
motion
is,
then, Marshall. Make that motion then.
I move that we do the second reading and adopt F25R3 to amend Resolution F23R1, a form at a specific amended date to as amended.
And I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second.
so once again, I have a concern because the attachment to this resolution that we're discussing appears to be what our public has talked about, which is 32 roads that are potentially changed in a manner that shouldn't be changed. And that's one thing I think we were going to look at.
Well, we have an attorney to keep us out of trouble. He just gave us advice. Let's vote.
Our attorney has indicated that it makes no difference that he could see with regards to the language. So it just clarifies it. So I don't see that
The
there's a
language-
problem.
The language clarifies this amendment,
Yeah,
this resolution. It doesn't change this. The
Right.
other one will change this possibly.
But this says it's an attachment to resolution F25R3, which is what we are voting on right now.
Right, but you're just voting to change the word as amended.
Well,
You're
then,
not voting to change the list. You're voting to change the list next meeting.
then I would suggest that we take this out of the resolution, this page, and then it changes the language, but it does not include this page in the resolution, which has the list of roads that are at question.
It's not necessary.
But here's the thing. This resolution will apply to the other resolution, however it's amended. Whether next month it's amended and then the month after it's amended again, this resolution will always apply to it as it is amended.
So there's still the ability there's still the ability to maintain the roads or do something with what we've tabled for next month. And that issue will be brought before us. Everything else just pretty much is remaining the same.
Yeah, it
Julie.
doesn't,
It's not really changing.
But this page is not the same. It says level of maintenance 3. Let's talk about Lost Spring, 0.82 miles. It says from portion accepted to portion accepted. So we would be voting on this second reading of resolution F25R3 to also include this into the resolution, and that changes what our public has talked about, which is changing the language of accepted portions of our roads.
can I clarify just for just a second?
Yes.
Because it says as amended on to be determined by resolution F25R2, as long as F25R2 is not passed tonight, it doesn't affect the roads. It's to be determined. So whatever you decide on F25R2 is what will go into effect. This won't go into effect because it's not.
That is very confusing to me because it's attached to the resolution we're talking about. So if we pass the resolution, which we're saying just changes the language, but then we attach this road list to it, that's part of the resolution.
That's the current road list.
It's the current list. It's not the one we're gonna look at to change as the resolution.
So it says portion accepted from and to. So it's changing language.
Right, and so the resolution that's you're discussing now will apply equally to the other resolution each time it is changed. It's not gonna change between now and next month because you've tabled changing it. But this resolution will apply to it next month if it's amended, and it'll apply to it 6 months from now if it's amended again. That's all. It doesn't change anything about the other resolution.
It just makes it so you don't have to do both of these readings every single time.
Again, it really, well, I
Thank you. I'm clear with what the attorney said. I think we've had enough discussion on this. We've had a motion and a second. Any further discussion specifically different than what we talked about?
No.
No. So I have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No,
One opposed, motion carries. On 7C, possible bonus for operations manager, Sean Kelly. Can you handle that for me? John, you were,
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I brought up in 2024 and we started, and I thought it was a good idea that for our employees, including our one employee right now, the operations manager, that we visit a bonus at the end of every year. And got tabled last month, so we're doing it now in January. And the board approved that at the end of 2024 for the operations manager. And honestly, just so you all know, if we had another employee, I would be throwing that other employee in the mix too. This bonus is a non-purchasable cash lump sum that we're talking about. It's just monetary. And so some of the things that warrant, like I did a little over a year ago, some of the things that warrant the bonus are, one I mentioned earlier, is the guy saved us $1,000 by not going to pool pack to fight his ethics complaint. The other thing is, and this is huge, because, we were all in the mix of it, but I was more working with Sean, and he negotiated a lower cost on the apron over at Rangeland that the contractor did last year, and that reduction in cost was well over $6,000 from the bid that SNC gave us. And then just the basic, we talk about this and it is review time, but just one of the things I appreciate about the operations manager is the problem-solving ability of any crisis that comes up having to do with the operation. Whether it's the well or the maintenance on equipment to get it back out in the valley working, it's just quick response, quick decision-making, just doing what he needs to do to service our residents and the people that we serve. And this is, I look at wage scales quite a bit. And yeah, you guys hear me in the middle of the year when we do raises, I'm always kind of, no, I don't want to go overboard, I kind of keep it normal. You can't give 20% raises out. But if you look at the current wage scales for similar positions, for what the operations manager does, he is not overpaid by any stretch of the imagination. So that's, I'm in a motion for a bonus, but we'll listen to.
I'd like to add to that. One of the things that Sean has done is, if we try to replace Sean, how do you get someone who knows how to fix all the equipment, run the operations, take care of all the other issues involved? I mean, there's quite a bit to it. And especially with maintenance, we save thousands and thousands of dollars every year on not having to do large maintenance because they do it in the shop in the wintertime when it's too frozen to go out and do the roads. Now, if we want someone here to just, we have another guy that came in on as a operator, and that's all he did was an operator, and we had him on pay. Well, if the roads are froze, there's not much to do. So what do we do with an individual when we have time on our hands theoretically to make things better in terms of the equipment we have? So it's always a difficult situation to come up with a right number for a bonus, but I can't really say I'm against not giving Sean a bonus, especially if it's non-PERS, because that doesn't hit us on the high end of the PERS end. So there's my thinking about it. Any other board members?
I just want to say that we're going to find out just how valuable he was when he leaves. He's going to retire. And replacing him is going to be extremely difficult for the same reason both of you guys have said. He has so many talents. He has so many things that he does that aren't really necessarily does in the job description. He's also a pretty damn good negotiator when he goes out and finds equipment. So I'm all in favor of giving him a bonus.
And I'll voice the same concerns I had last month, which is we don't have a policy for this. I believe that a bonus should be based on objectives that are met and not a subjective, hey, he's a good guy, let's give him a bonus. I think we need to have measurable objectives to be able to give a bonus.
I think I just listed a few.
Okay.
I think we need to write them down So that,
They are
and
written
it
down
makes
right here.
it makes it easier for our employee to know, okay, it says here that I have touched 90 miles of roads. I've touched them all once this year. That should be written down so that the employee knows, hey, I did this so that I could be up for a bonus. But we don't have anything written like that.
We do, don't we, John?
Yeah,
It's not in the employee handbook.
I can understand your thinking on an employee handbook. When you're in, especially organizations as large as I was and you were with fire or city stuff, policy has to be around. When you have one or two employees, do we need any policy to determine whether somebody's done a good job or not at the end of the year? We know, I mean, if there's problems, we know all the stuff that comes to the board. We know whether we've got equipment that works or not. So, what do you think about that, Julie? You think can we just avoid that kind of?
I think we're
Thing, or-
going to avoid a lot more problems if we have it written down. We have other policies. Why shouldn't we have a policy for this?
and Greg, I stay with it, the board handbook's updated.
Yeah, we've updated the handbook.
No, not the board, I mean the
Not the
employee
employee
handbook, it'll be in there.
Yes. Well, any more public comment? Sir?
Yeah, Wayne Morton for the record. This public comment relates to bonus eligibility. I'm not commenting on Sean Kelly's merits related to getting a bonus. This comment is about the GID policy regarding bonus eligibility. In the industry I retired from, if an employee had disciplinary action on file, then the employee was not eligible for a bonus. The reason for this policy was simple. If an employee had disciplinary action, then the employee hasn't met the minimum expectations for the job. Bonuses were for employees who go above and beyond expectations. The exclusion from the bonus policy or bonus typically lasted for 12 months from the disciplinary action date. So I asked, does the board have a policy with regards to bonus eligibility? One, and should an employee be eligible for a bonus if they have disciplinary action on file indicating they have not met the minimum job expectations? Thank you. Any public comment, Greg?
Oh, I think Sean has met minimum expectations and then some. With regards to the disciplinary issue, I'm not sure how it was handled, and I don't have all the facts on it. And I was absent when they had the disciplinary hearing, so I apologize for that. But I can say that Sean has gone beyond expectations many times. So, there's.
This is a question about a policy. I very
But it's
distinctly said.
subjective, it's still
Greg,
subjective.
Greg, you're responding to public comment.
Okay,
I
sorry.
distinctly said at the table.
All right.
So is there any other public comment?
Any other public comment?
Robert Moen for the record. I thought maybe I heard this statement that there was something written down for the bonus policy or something, or that maybe I heard that incorrectly. Is there any resistance towards maybe writing something down in the future? Could this bonus be handled separately from a policy change?
That's something this board could certainly look at.
And I
And,
understand how if the
but
bonus is.
I can't deal with a bonus now when we theoretically say we don't have a policy, when an individual is deserving of a bonus now, and I don't have supposedly something written down. So that's what I'm trying to contend with right now.
So just so I understand, for the
So
question.
it's not a debate. It's not a debate. There's been public comment. If, you know, I think you can, if there's nobody else that wishes to speak, you can close public comment. And move ahead with the motion.
I bring this back to the board. We have a motion.
I'm gonna let you do the motion, Marshall.
I move that we give Sean Kelly a performance-oriented bonus of $1,000.
All second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion among board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No,
No. 2 noes, 3 yes, 1 passes 3-2. Motion carried. Okay, new business, none. Correspondence for information only.
Sorry. Received from the Planning Division regarding Brent Douglas's request to divide his 10-acre parcel into 3 parcels ranging from 3.33 acres to 3.34 acres. They have approved it. They did put on the Palomino Valley GID requirements that he will need to follow the procedure for access to this rights of way from Resolution F19R1. He will also need to have the operations manager sign off before they can get a certificate of occupancy. And that's basically what we requested. And they approved all that. Then we received the assessor's statements. We don't pay taxes on these, but they do send the assessments. And we received those. We had the letter from the Department of Taxation. I worked with Kelly on that, and that's what we approved earlier. Then from PoolPack, they are changing the way they do the payroll assessment. And it really has no impact on us at all, other than it was the fiscal year, and now they're going to a calendar year. And nothing will really change other than they're just doing a calendar year.
We pay an
And
annual basis?
we pay
We
quarterly.
pay quarterly as an
Okay,
annual
so it
rate.
won't make much difference.
It doesn't make any difference. It would if it otherwise. We receive no tax on overtime, but Sean doesn't have overtime. He does compensation. And that's all I have on that.
Thank you. Going on to board member and staff items.
Oh,
Topics.
calendar.
Calendar? Oh, I missed it. Thank you.
Just because the request for proposals to the auditing firms has gone out. I've sent it out to the 3 that Kathy recommended. I will report the new officers to the registrar of voters. Sean, I'm supposed to remind you about your capital outlay budget for next month. We have the tort claims report that the attorney's supposed to do. Are you aware of that, sir?
I am, I have not received usually I receive a request and some data.
Okay, I'll contact PoolPack tomorrow and make sure they send it to you.
Thank you.
Working on the OSHA filing. We were selected again this year to do that again. We'll be audited again this year. We will receive the preliminary projections on February 15th. We have to have the preliminary budget at the meeting in February, so we'll have that. And that's what I have on there. And then we received the new calendar from the state. And basically, it's just on the budget. And that's included in this calendar as well. And that's what we have on the calendar.
Thank you, Roland. Item 11, board member and staff items. Topics for future agendas, statements relating to items not on the agenda, announcements for information, presentation only, no discussion or action will be taken on this item.
I will send you the form.
Julie?
Thank you. I do have several requests. I know we've heard from our public several times about communications to the public for road maintenance, and I'm wondering if we can put that on the agenda and discuss that. Also, a schedule of roads and
The first item, Julie, what was that?
yes, communications to the public about when roads are gonna be maintained, when roads are gonna be touched, basically, and a schedule of roads and when when we can expect them to be maintained.
Thank you.
And also at last meeting, what was requested by 3 trustees was not on the agenda today, but I would like to readdress that in a more concise way and ask that the job description of our operations manager be placed on the agenda so we can discuss potential changes or clarifications in a public setting, and so that the public has some say in it as well and they can participate. And then the last one I have is I don't know what the hiring process is for hiring a new employee. And I'm wondering why it's not on Facebook and Nextdoor and on our own website to try and get people who are qualified from the Valley to work here. And so I'm wondering, and I had somebody ask me about the job, and I don't know, and I don't even know what we pay. So I would like to discuss that on the agenda so that we can give that information out to the public and potentially get someone who doesn't have to commute to come work here. Thank you.
John?
I've already thanked Greg for his years of service as our secretary treasurer, but I want to thank John especially for getting us through the last couple of years and setting these meetings up so that they're efficient, they're quick, we don't have a whole bunch of drama, and we're actually getting stuff done. So I attribute that to these 2 guys especially. And thank you, ladies. You know, you guys are doing a bang up job. So I'm proud to be on the board. And I'm really proud to be working with you guys.
Thank you.
I have-
I thank you, John, for the last couple of years. I was appointed this position, and then like you said, I was voted in as a trustee. I've enjoyed working with everybody. Ladies, you're doing a great job. Julie, you did a good job. This board is doing a great job, the way I see it. We have differences, but I think we work well together, and I hope we work well together in the future with our new elected appointees.
I have a staff item. Trustee Osborne and Trustee Dennis will be done with their service this year. And Trustee Dennis, I have called the county. She's working with George to find out if you're eligible to run again. She couldn't tell me. She wasn't sure.
Let them find out.
That's what George is supposed to call me back tomorrow and tell me. And it wasn't simple. They couldn't just say.
Many years? I don't think so.
That's what, she didn't know. And so she's working with that. And then Trustee Osborne's term will be up at the end of the year as well. So we have 2 open positions, whether they run or not.
John?
I got nothing for next month.
I have a few things I'd like to talk about. In the future for agenda items, and I'm not sure whether I think I have control over this. The attorney can help me with that a little bit. I'm going to insist on more transparency with regards to what's coming to the meeting in terms of staff reports. I'm beginning to like more and more that we have something in front of us and something in front of our constituents that says what they want, what a trustee wants to get done, what are the reasons behind it, what's the logic behind it. Sir, you brought all the stuff that you had put together. You could make a very good staff report of all of that in terms of what you want to do and where you want to go, and I can understand that. I want to see the same types of things with the board, because when we bring things just verbally to the board with a one-liner, first, it doesn't help our attorney at all, because we're not sticking to what specifics of an agenda item we want to go over and deal with. And it just becomes a blasé type thing where we're not really accomplishing anything. So that's one thing that I think we really need to do is if we're gonna bring something to the board, we need a staff agenda item. Sean puts his staff agenda item on his road report, so we know what's going on. He brings a report of what he did on certain things. So more transparency in that way, so you know what's coming up in front of the board, instead of just looking down here at an item and says something you can't understand. And I've heard that before from people, it's too vague, and to be too vague is not good for us in terms of how we deal with our constituents. And so that's one item, and I think I just leave it right there at that, because if we accomplish things like that, we're fine. The other thing I looked at was, and I've said it before, we're probably over $10 million we spent on Ironwood.
I'd have to look.
Yeah,
Something like
probably
that.
over $10 million.
It was like
How much would it cost to have graded and put Ironwood under a paved road with the right base, the right drainage, and we'd be done with it? Then all we do is patch it for the next 20 years. And we have a paved road. And I talked with Nevada here about it, and I had said, well, it's gonna take $5 million to do that. And I think I got a different opinion on that.
Whole different number.
Whole different number, much less. And so I would like to look into dealing with the county, the debt commission, doing other things that make sense, so we can decrease our costs on overall maintenance and road work in the long run. I don't know if that will work, because a lot of people have said, especially George, you can't do it, you can't afford it, on and on. But I've worked with utilities where you plan out 20 years and they can afford it, and you can implement things that work really well. Without, you have to get the projects done and then pay for them, true. But, you know, we'll talk about that later. But those are the kind of things that I'd like to look at a little bit. Thank you. Done. Now, on to item 12, public comment on matters not listed on this agenda. Yeah, I know. George.
George Boyce for the record. I might agree with you that paving would be good. But I think if you're going to go that route, we should go a little further and make sure that when we do a paving project, that it is up to standards to the county and give the county the road. That way we don't have to do any more maintenance then. It's their problem. And I think that's the best solution. If you're gonna go a paving route, make sure you bring it up to county standards and give the road to the county to take care of. Then that way there, over that 20-year period, you don't have no maintenance. If a person's got a problem with it, they can call the county, because we don't have nothing else to do with it.
Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
Any other public comments on that, or public comment? Yes, sir. You're up.
Okay, one last second.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you.
Wayne Morton's record, this is a topic I'm passionate about, if you haven't. This public comment relates to any future deed research supporting resolution F25-R2. To determine whether easements are legally deeded to the GID will require skills Kathy Glather has demonstrated she does not have. The report Kathy Glather created misleads the board with legal conclusions based on land use, which is legally incorrect. This assignment needs a skill that is proficient in deed research, and title companies have skills that do this type of deed research every day. I strongly suggest the board look into using a title company or a resource experienced in deed research to complete this assignment. I strongly suggest the attorney review the report since the report is making a legal conclusion. Having Kathy Glather do any more work on this assignment is not recommended because she does not have the right skill set. And considering all the false and misleading statements made by Kathy Glather in the roadway easement research project, the board should reconsider giving Kathy Glather any more GID work.
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
We have something.
Can you state your name?
Shannon Windle
I'll
for the
take that.
record.
Thank you.
I'm with Nickel Cough at Nevada Wild Horses. And I'm here this evening to ask the Palomino Valley GID to consider putting signage regarding the wild horse population in Palomino on the agenda for next month. I believe it's February 19th. One of the major areas of concern of our nonprofit is the promotion, increase, and improvement of public safety where wild horses and burros are found. And I'm sure that that is also a great concern for this board as well. Most residents in Palomino Valley are fully aware of the wild horse population and drive accordingly. They know to slow down, watch the speed limits, and watch for horses. But there are a lot of new people coming into this area, and they're not perhaps aware of the wild horse populations. Perhaps they don't care, but my experience over the last 15 years working with wild horses, specifically in the South Reno area, a horse to vehicle strike is horrific, devastating. There's nothing good that comes of it, and in the end, the horse is normally the one that loses out. I think it's a very important and growing concern in this area. There have been a couple of horse to vehicle strikes in the last, I believe, 4 weeks or so. And I would greatly appreciate working with and discussing the topic with this board. So thank you for your time and your consideration of this matter.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, we are down to adjournment.
Yeah, I move that we adjourn.
Anybody second?
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're done. Thank you, guys.